primordial fear that the mentally ill are people to be shunned, that they can't be trusted. The prosecutor said to me once, you're not just saying that this is a dog that has a mental problem. You're saying this is a rabid dog. And what do you do with rabid dogs? They have to be put down, have to be killed.
I hate to use the term bleeding heart. There are people who are bleeding hearts. They're disconnected. They've never had it touch their family. It's easy to stand on the outside and be like, oh, well, how can you be for the death penalty, and how can you be that kind of person? Well, that's how you can be that kind of person. Because we lived it. And she lived it. What she went through. It's easy to be out there and say, well, I don't believe in that. I think that makes you barbaric if you feel that way. But if you live the reality of it, you might feel differently.
I've not had a member of my family or loved one killed, and so I do respect the fact that I have not walked in the shoes of a person who's had that happen to them. I think capital punishment sort of sells a good that, okay, if we do this, we will feel better, we would have taken care of the problem, and we really haven't. I think the money that we use on capital cases could be used in prevention, could be used for victim services. So, I just don't think it's a viable societal solution for anything.
Well, my father was a minister. I was raised in a religious situation when my father was murdered. They asked my mom, did she want the death penalty? And she said no. I didn't understand that. I mean, I knew she was hurt, she was crushed, but somewhere in her heart, she didn't have vengeance. I didn't want to have vengeance because I think the hater is more hurt than the hated. Because if you're hating somebody, you gotta take that with you everywhere you go. It colors what you think, it colors what you feel, and I didn't want to be like that.
Such a wicked person who commits such a heinous crime, can he be forgiven by God and be receiving the gift of eternal life? Be patient, wait for justice, and please pray for this dear family. It will be very difficult.
My sister, Debbie, she died of cancer. She really struggled with it on her deathbed, really, because she's like, well, some minister told her that if she couldn't say that she forgives him, that she was going to go to hell. And she said, well, I guess I'm going to hell because I don't think I can say that. She said, I can say that I've let go of it and that it's between him and God. But if I have to say I forgive him for what he did, she said, I can't say that. Because, so, luckily she talked to enough people and we were all like, well, yeah, but, you haven't let it make you a mean, angry, bitter person. You just turned it over to God. And in our eyes, that's what forgiveness is. If you just let it go.
I remember being on the stand. I looked at my brother because I hadn't seen him in a while. I said, so I looked at him. And I glanced over and this angel. I'm sorry. I was asked, do you still consider yourself friends with her? Do you still think she's your friend? And all I can reply is, I hope so. I hope she has some understanding.
There are 3 viewing rooms that are separate, of course. One for the victim's family, one from the inmates' friends and family, and one for the state's witnesses. And never the twain shall meet. So they all come in at separate times, they're placed in separate places in advance, and then they're moved separately to the viewing chambers.
I think it only makes it worse for the victims. And it destroys the lives of the defendant and their family who didn't do anything wrong. It destroys the lives of the guards at the prison who have to help kill this person. It debases the jury who has to decide to kill somebody.
If we ever reach the point where a majority of the public feels, we don't think it's right to kill somebody, that's when we won't have a death penalty anymore. It's when the public decides we don't want this punishment. But back 10 years ago, 75 to 80% of